So today we are going to talk about an internal another editor. Okay, so which is SCD. So SCD stands for Streamline Editor or Stream Editor. So means so previously you are editing the files by using VEditor or you may using Nano Editor or whatever it is. Now I want to edit this particular edit some file or a configuration file by over the script. Okay, over the while running the script, let's say my requirement is to configure a HTTP configuration. So you both of you are administrators. So I'm giving an administrator example here. Um, here, so basically you need to install the HTTP configuration. So in order to install the HTTP configuration, so what you need to do, have a proper things. You need to have a proper yum configuration setup. Okay, so the first thing is if you have a yum configuration, that's okay, you can go with. If there is no yum configuration, you need to configure the yum. So in order to configure the yum, so what you require to configure a repo file which is in etc yum.repos.d. So how can you create the file, or how can you edit the existing file? Okay, so by using SCD editor over the command line. So once you set over the repository over there, after installation of HTTPD, assume if you need to change some configuration parameters in the httpd.conf file. Now how do you do that? Again, the editor, you need to edit the file, right? So how can you edit that? So again the same thing, so using SCD editor, because you are going through scripting. So at any point of time you need to automate. You don't need to have any manual intervention. So that is the main criteria about going with scripting. Okay, so end to end you need to automate the manual task, whatever you are going to do, with all the situations and scenarios included. Okay, so here, okay, so we're going to talk about couple of commands, almost all the commands, but more which are required actually. So here in the set command, the set syntax is going to be like this. So SCD, and it's like a grep command. Okay, so -e command 1, so which it is going to be in single quotes. So what is this command one is? Sed internal commands. It's not shell commands. Sed itself will have internal commands, and those commands are actually we're going to talk about in the classes now, in this class now. So you have command 2. So like this you have multiple commands, and finally you'll be having a file. Okay, so by default it will not edit the file, it only manipulate the output. Okay, so whatever the output you want to manipulate, it will modify that particular modify that particular output and displays the output, that's all, but it will not edit the file. Whereas if you use, unless you use an option scd-i, so if you give command 1, so this particular command 1 is going to be applied directly on this particular file. So here in this case you will get output, and here in this case you will not get output, because the file is directly modifying, whereas it takes the original file and modifies the output and prints the output, manipulates the output and get the output. So this is what the two things. So -i option is to actually edit the files, so input the files. Now, so previous to SCD command, so SCD is a powerful utility, very powerful utility. It provides a lot of flexibilities. Okay, now set command helps you in this way. Okay, so you want to edit one file, so what you do manually, so you open with VEditor, you do it. Let's say you want to edit 10 files at a time, so how do you do that? Okay, still you can manage. So you want to modify 100 files every minute, so how do you do that? Or every hour you need to modify hundreds of files in your company or in your job, day-to-day job. So how do you do that? It's not at all possible by going with manuals. Okay, so set is going to help you with a lot of options. Okay, by using those particular options and commands, it is possible. Okay, so no need to do manually or view all the files at a time, so it can do all the files in parallel, all the changes whatever you need. So usually you don't require to modify that many files, but okay, I'm just giving an example. Now sed is the latest utility. So prior to sed, actually there used to be an utility called as ed. Okay, so sed has been replaced with ed command. So if you are using a very old Linux operating systems, I don't think so you'll be using those operating systems like Red Hat version 3. Okay, so those kind of versions. If you talk about what we say Unix versions, so Unix versions, very old versions like Solaris 8 and those kind of versions, you usually see ed editor. But okay, so now at least from past 5-7 years, okay, what all the operating systems came up, all those are using scd editor. Not even 7 years, more than 7 years, around 5-10 years. Okay, so what all the operating system came after 10 years, all is having almost the same editor. So this is famous now. Here, okay, so we're going to talk about the commands. So what are the commands I'm going to talk about is p, print command, d, delete command. So print command you may not usually use, but it helps you in understanding how the set is going to work. Okay, so d is for delete, and what are the next commands? Print, delete, substitute, and a for append, I for insert, C for change. So these are the 6 commands we're going to talk about, and usually these are the 6 regular tasks whatever you do with VEditor. So whenever you open with VEditor, what you do? Will you add content? You go with append. Will you insert content? You'll go with insert. Right? You know, right? You have 2 different options. If I think usually you go into VEditor, you press I, which is insert actually. It's not append. So to have it append, actually you need to press O. Okay, so like that. Okay, so change also you have certain options in the editor. And substitute, okay, so you want to search and replace with something, how do you do that? Okay, so you go and use substitute command, and assume if you require to delete some lines, you go with deleting the lines. So these are the major things whatever you do in general in files, but this helps you in understanding how set is going to work, and sometimes you usually may use it. Depends. Okay. So for that, actually I already written a small shell script for demonstration purpose. I'm going to use that particular script. Even you can execute your script because I already gave the logins to this particular server. You can just log in and you can execute the script like how I am using for practicing purpose. Now here if you see, as I already told you, the set is going to be okay, so having its own internal commands, and you'll be having internal file. Now, what if, okay, so what if you have more commands, more and commands, okay, more and more commands basically, very huge number of commands. So in that case, I cannot go with -e command 1, -e command 2, -e command 3 like this, okay, I cannot go with all the commands. Whereas I can put all those commands in a file, command 1, command 2, command 3, all these things, and I can access this particular sed-f file. So wherever the file I have kept these particular commands, I can access that particular commands by using that file.scd and file. Okay, so it will be easy for you. Okay, whenever you are working on very huge, okay, so huge number of files or huge number of okay commands. If you have such requirements, so we usually go with -f option. Now let's start with, okay, so the basic print command. Okay, so the basic print command is, okay, so sedp employee.txt. So what you are asking is to the set command is print the file. So you are simply giving sedp employee.txt. But yes, it is giving the employee.txt, but if you see on another terminal, let me open another terminal. So it's a simply, okay, it's a simple employee.txt file. It's a simple database file, flat file, text file. So here you can see you have 1011, so total 7 employees, that's fine, and each and every employee, employee number, employee name, and employee designation is given in a line, okay, with comma as the delimiter between each and every field. Now you see here, okay, it's printing, but every line is actually you're getting double lines. Okay, why you are actually getting double lines? So you need to understand one thing. Whenever you go with set command, so it has three things. Okay, so what is the three things you have is, first one is input stream, and what is the last one is output stream. Input stream, and this is output stream. And so in between what you have is a set, actually workplace or workspace you can say. So there is certain other technical word. Okay, that's fine. So you can call it as, okay, so set workspace. Now what happens over here is, okay, so whenever you have a number of lines, okay, so this is input stream is nothing but the file, whatever you want to run a command. So for the first time what happens is it pulls the first line into the workspace and it performs that particular command on that particular line and it sends to the output stream. Next it goes to the next line, it pulls that line, it works the command whatever needs to be worked on that line, so it sends to the output stream. Now, so here what is the command you are using is, you are using a command called as print. Okay, so print has an additional feature that it can print both the things. What it is printing? It is printing output stream and it is printing workspace. Okay, so print has a capability, and print by default prints both the the scope of the print command is it can print both the things. So that's the reason when immediately line pulls into the workspace, it is printing the first line and it is sending to the output stream, then immediately you are getting second line. So for that reason actually you are getting two lines for each and every line. Okay, so you can disable that particular default behavior by using -n option. Okay, so by using -n command line option in set command, you can disable those duplicate lines. -n I usually remember for easy remembering is -n no noisy output. No noisy output. Okay, so that's how I remembered in my early days, and even I suggest people because -n, okay, so hyphen no noise output, that makes basically, okay, so easy to remember. Now the next one what we are trying to do is, so whatever you can do with the grep command you can go and do with set command too. So grep Jane from employee.txt, how many lines you are getting? You are getting, okay, one line, so the same thing you are doing, but searching you need to do it in 2 forward slashes. In the last class we talked about in awk command. So how do you search is nothing but in 2 forward slashes you have to give a word to search and you are getting that line. Okay, so your grep command was previously worked how your cat command is working. So if you simply give p enter, okay, so it is going to cat that concatenate the complete file. Now you're doing some things what your grep command can do. Okay, you're searching for Jane and printing, so you're getting the lines where Jane word is found, and also you have two words, let's say, okay, it is going to be two commands now. So search for Jane print and search for demon print, so you're getting two lines now. So you are using two commands. So first command is using -e option, second command is using -e option. So these are the two commands. So you can use a print command, or you can combine one print, one delete, or you can use one print, one substitute. It all depends upon you. Okay, there is no limitation that you have to use only one type of commands at in single command. No. Okay, you can use any commands, offset commands. Okay, so on a single set command doesn't bother you anything, doesn't okay, so throw you any error. It actually works that way on. Okay, so the same thing. Okay, so if you put the searches, whatever you are doing previously, JNPrint, daemon print, all those things in a file, so which is test1.scd, and you search for JNPrint, daemon print, 107 print, so you're getting those lines. All these three commands are actually loaded by using -f and the file name. Now, so this is the beautiful thing in, okay, so set command. So you want only second line, what you do? Simply 2p. You don't have any command which provides you such durability, okay, uh, like how set command provides you. Okay, so simply 2p, that's all. Okay, you no need to put head, tail, combine, head, tail, come up with some logic. No worries. Simply 2p, that's all. And also, if you would like to get a range, actually, so you have to give 1 comma 4. Comma stands for range. Comma is not differentiating two values here. So if you would like to get a line numbers from 1 to 4, so use, okay, 1 comma 4. And so 2 comma dollar. So 2 comma dollar. So dollar, I already told you what dollar denotes is end of the file. What dollar denotes is end of file, and end of each and every line is also dollar. Okay, so 2 comma dollar means it is going to print from second line to end of the file. It is going to print from second line to end of the file. Now one tilde symbol too. Okay, so sometimes whenever you write some SQL queries, you may need to get the output, okay, so which are alternate lines basically. Okay, so if you would like to deal with alternate lines, so you go with a tilde symbol. So what it is doing is it is telling you to print first line, and after first line you print the next immediate second line. So after first line, the immediate next second line is third line. So in third line, what is the next immediate second line is fifth line. Okay, so like that, if you would like to go with printing odd number of lines, you simply use one tilde symbol 2. And if you would like to do with and print what we say even number of lines, use two tilde symbol 2. Okay, so print command, why I'm especially okay stretching much on print command is it can help you to understand the set command, that's all. Okay, so you may use or you may not use these things in your day-to-day jobs, but okay, at least print command, the remaining commands are regularly used. Now you see the beauty of the, okay, so beauty of this particular set command. So previously you are searching only JSON printing, or else you are giving 1 comma for print. Now you can club both the things and you can do that. Okay, so what this particular thing is doing, it is searching for a word JSON, and if JSON word is found, it is print till line number 4. Simple two conditions you are giving: search for a word JSON and print till line number 4. Now you should get a couple of questions, are basically, okay, so you may enter into certain situations here. So what are the situations? If a file doesn't have a word JSON, let's say, assume whatever the file you are dealing with, it doesn't have a word JSON. So what happens? Nothing is going to happen. So if the first condition satisfies, then only it goes to second condition. Okay, see, it's a simple logic basically. If you are okay, so you're having 1 to 10 lines, I'm asking you to print from fifth line to 10th line, but there are no 10 lines available. At least there are no 5 lines. There is only 1 line. Can the condition happens? No, you cannot print which there is nothing actually. Okay, so here also the same thing. Okay, the first condition satisfies, then it goes the second condition. The first condition is searching for a word JSON. So if word JSON is found, and it will print till line number 4. And if JSON is not found, nothing is going to happen. If JSON is found after line number 4, possible, right? If JSON is found after line number 4, it prints only that particular line. Why? Because it cannot go back. It cannot go back. See, this said workspace always loads one line and run all the commands and sends to the output stream. So load second line, run all commands and put it to the output stream. So it always goes line by line. So once it is done with a line and you're done. So okay, you cannot go back for the previous line. So that is how actually the sed works. And search for a word Raj and print till end of file. So u comma dollar. Now you see here. Okay, so search for a word Raj and print till Jane is found. Condition. Okay, if Raj is found, it search for a word Jane. If Raj is not at all found, Jane does not found. Okay, so even the Janes exist doesn't matter. If Raj is found and Jane is not found, so it searches for every line and prints till end of file. Okay, so pretty interesting concepts here. Now, okay, so if you would like to get the next immediate two lines, so I'm searching for a word JSON, and if I would like to get the next immediate two lines, I have an option in grep command, which is -A. So here you are using +2. And you don't have a concept of -2. Why? Because again, the same concept, it goes line by line, it cannot go back. So you want to print minus means the order should go this way. Okay, so it never happens. So that is the reason you don't have minus option there. So if you want minus options, you always grep command is available for you, not the set command. Okay, so that is all about set print command. Now let's talk about the actual commands, which are delete commands. Okay, so delete command means it is deleting those lines. So previously you printed those lines. Now if you are giving 2D, you are deleting the lines, so you are getting the remaining lines. And if you give 1 comma 4D, so it deletes from 1 to 4 and it is giving okay the remaining lines. 2 comma dollar, so delete from 2 to dollar. Okay, if you would like to remove odd number of lines, that's fine. Now this makes sense. Okay, if you would like to remove the lines where manager is found, so what you do, you simply go and search for a word manager and delete it. And search for a word JSON. Okay, delete till line number 4, that's fine. Delete yeah, once Raj is found, delete till Jane is found. Son is found. This is important. This is interesting thing. Yeah, Uday.
Yeah, if I found a tweet, have a 3 lines in the file.
Yeah, if JSON is found in 5th position, it will print. Yes, it will print. So in which case you
Okay.
are asking for JSON? Okay, so slash JSON comma 4 print you are asking.
No, no, no. I'm asking about deleting in the file. I have every line in JSON, but I want to delete particular line, 10th line or 9th line in that file. How can I?
Sorry, Uday, I cannot hear you properly.
If I want to delete, I'm going to delete in the file. 10 lines have JSON starting with that line, JSON name.
Okay, so you want to delete the lines wherever the JSON is found.
No, no, no. JSON is every line has JSON, but I
Uh-huh.
want to delete the ninth line in the file.
So you want to delete the 9th line in a file.
Yes.
Okay, so we just talked, right? So if you give 2D, it is deleting second line. So in your case, you give 9D, that's all. It deletes line number 9.
But I want to delete with a particular name, JSON.
What you want to use?
I want to use that by code JSON, by getting the word JSON in ninth line. I want to delete that.
So you want to delete only in line number 9, you want to delete the JSON word. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now it is not possible. After the delete command, we'll talk about substitute command. With that particular command, it is possible. I'll just tell you that. Okay. After that one, I'll explain you. So now, okay. So here, this is interesting thing. So if you want to remove empty lines in a file, okay. So what you do? So you have to delete by using cap dollar. So yesterday I already told you cap dollar denotes empty lines, and if you would like to delete the empty lines, so this is, some people may ask you the interview questions also. Okay, so how do you delete empty lines in a file? Okay, so simple, sed hyphen I. Okay, so as we are not using hyphen I option, you are getting only output, but if you use hyphen I option, it actually edits the file. Okay, so sed hyphen I, what is the answer would be? Sed hyphen I. Okay, so search for cap dollar and delete those lines, that's all. You're done. Okay, so let me show you like this. So I'm just putting empty lines. Okay, so see, so sed hyphen e, so search for cap dollar delete, and the file is employee.txt. So now the empty lines are deleted, okay, only on the output but not on the file. But if you cat the employee.txt, still empty lines are there. Now if you would like to actually delete the content, okay, what you need to do, you need to use hyphen I option. Now you'll not get any output, but if you see cat employee.txt, whatever the changes you are expecting to change, those gets changed here, those got changed here. Okay, so this is how you usually, okay, so take care of delete command. Now, okay, so the next command we're going to talk about is substitute command. Okay, so what is substitute command is, if you would like to substitute a word manager and if you would like to replace it with director, so what you do is go with a substitute command. So what you have done is substituted manager with director. So all the managers whatever who are there, they became director, they became directors. Okay, so this is not a okay good scenario. Why? Because all the managers I don't want to make directors, but I want to delete, I want to search for a word sales, and if sales, okay, I want to make only sales manager as sales director. Okay, so I'll just go and search for, okay, a word sales. If sales word is there, in that particular word, search for manager and replace with director. So other managers are still managers, whereas only sales manager has become sales director. So this is the thing what you are asking, Uday. Okay, so let me show you, let me demonstrate you that one. So what you are asking me is, so cp, I don't want to touch this file, so cp employee.txt, I'll just put it as emp, I'll go with emp. So what I'll do is, yeah, I'll put like this. Now you want to, okay, so you want to make the, I'll just set space nu. So here, okay, so instead of JSON, so where is JSON? Yeah, JSON. So you want to delete the JSON in line number 9. So of course it became into the exact line number 9 only. Okay, very good. So here, what okay, so here one of the our guy is asking, so I want to, okay, I have a JSON here, I have a JSON here, but what is his requirement is, in line number 9, if JSON exists, he want to delete that particular word, that's all. He don't want to delete the complete line. So how he do that? So actually we should not call it as a delete in terms of said, okay, I mean set terminology, we need to call it as substitute. Okay, so what you want to substitute with, you want to substitute with nothing. So here in this case you are substituting manager with director, whereas in that case your director, okay, so whatever you are putting over here, you just put it as empty, that's all. Okay, so how can you do that is, let me save cat emp. So sed hyphen e. So previously you have searched for a word sales, but I'll just go with a line number. So 9s means line number 9, substitute of JSON and replace with nothing, and the file is emp. So can you see here actually, so here you have Jason Smith, the JSON is missing because JSON is now removed or substituted with empty value. Is that clear, Uday? Okay, great. So that particular requirement is not called as deleting. So that particular requirement is called as substitution. Okay. So and the substitute command we have over here is yes, small s. Okay, substitute command. Okay, now you see here. Okay, so I'm using echo apple and you're searching for small a's and replacing with capital A's. You see simply here. So you have two A's, okay, but you are searching for A and A, but only first A is getting replaced. What about this A? So let's say I'll just put it as animal. So I'll just make it as another A even. Okay, so here if you see, so what about other A's? Those are not replaced. Okay, so in VA editor I'm not sure whether you have come up with an option. You usually search and replace in VA editor by using %s forward slash and the source word and the target word or the previous word and the new word and slash g usually give. Okay, so here also I'm going to use g is a global flag. G is a global flag across the line, not across the file. Okay, across the line. So how substitute command is going to work is whenever any first substitution happened, it immediately goes to the next line. It doesn't bother about the remaining substitution. So that is how substitute command works. So if you would like to forcefully tell to the substitute command that change the each and every possibility globally across the line, so you go with small g option. Let's say my requirement is to change only first possibility. I'll give you simply 1. If my requirement is only to change the second possibility, I'll give 2. If my requirement is to change only the third possibility, I'll give 3. Okay, so like this, you're actually okay. So set command substitute is going to work for you. And one more situation here. So what is that particular situation is, see you're searching for a okay John and you're replacing with Johnny, so this is not required, that's fine. Yeah, you see this situation. So you're searching for John and you're replacing with Johnny. Okay, simple substitute command. You're searching for John and you're replacing with Johnny, but John is still John. He is not replaced with Johnny. Any ideas from one of you why it was not replaced? Simply simple substitute command. I'm substituting John with Johnny, but it's not substituted. Why? You can clearly see the John is still John, not Johnny. Any ideas?
In that we have to go with only G.
Okay, so let why G is global change, but here change itself is not happening, right? See, still John as John. Okay, so you want to maybe to put as G. I'll just put G. Still same. John is still John, not replaced with Johnny. Any other guess? If you clearly observe, you'll understand. It's not at all a big deal.
By default, it will work on first column only.
No, Ramchandra. It works on the line. It doesn't matter about the column. You need to clearly understand. You don't need to understand anything here. If you simply observe the outputs, what you are giving and what you are expecting, you'll understand why it is not replacing.
Oh,
Any other guesses? Say you want to write scripting, your mind has to think in 10 different ways. One thinking doesn't help you in scripting.
in employee.txt, John has a capital letter. But
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So here you're searching trying to exactly that is the answer. Okay. So here you're trying to replace small j ohn to capital this one, but here what you have is JOHN. So by default SED enables case sensitivity. It always searches with case sensitivity. If you would like to enable the case insensitivity, then you have a flag available like globe. G is a flag, G is not a command. Instead substitute command, whatever the G we have used, it's a, okay, so it is a flag in substitute command. Okay, it's not a command actually. So likewise you have small I as a flag in substitute command. Now you can see John is now replaced with Johnny. Okay, so to enable the case insensitivity in substitute command, or even in any of the command, in any of the searches, if you would like to enable the case insensitivity flag, use I option, I flag, not option, sorry, I flag. Okay, now the next command whatever we are going to talk about is append. So till now you are printing the content which is already there, you are deleting the content which is already there, you are substituting the content, so with at least the previous content, it's, you are relying on the previous content. Now what your requirement is, altogether you need to add the new data, new lines to the file. You need to add the new lines to the file. So how do you add a new lines to a file? Okay, how do you add new lines to a file? So how do I add is, the first command is append. So A means append. So to the second line it actually appending this particular new content. So what is the new content? 203 Johnson engineer. I am just appending to line number 2. Let's say you want to append to IT manager, so you search for IT manager instead of line number 2. Okay, so how do you search, you know, right? 2 forward slashes and search for IT manager and append there. So wherever the IT manager found, it appends that particular line. So $A means obviously end of the file append. So if you would like to add content to the end of the file, use $A. Now the next command you have is, okay, so to I. So now you want to insert, actually you're not appending, you're inserting. Okay, so insert means, so into the exact line wherever you want to put it, okay, it is going to go there. Append is in the line number you have given, it goes to the next line. So but insert means it goes to the actual line. Okay, and the file name. So you have two commands to add the content, so which is A append, I insert, and I flag is different. Okay, that is a substitute flag we talked in substitute command. This I is a command here. Okay, so these little differences you will understand while coming into the practicing of set command. Okay, so till then it might be a little, okay, confusing here and there, like everywhere you see I, and it's a different purpose in different situations. So how I will come to know. Okay, with little practice you'll usually, okay, grasp those knowledge, not an issue. So $I means obviously end of the file insert. Now this is the one last command which we are going to talk about, which is change command. So what is the change command? So we are going to remove the existing line, which is 102, and whereas I'm going to add the new content to the same line. So change means change the complete line. So the previous content will be lost and you put the new content there. And you put the new content there, that's all. Okay, so that is all about, okay, so the set command and its options, and you can use this particular one anywhere you want. Okay, so let me do like this. So everyone might have known about a file called as sshd_config. So I'll just copy that file to /tmp sshd_config, right? So what is the purpose of this particular file? If you would like to configure something, okay, about with respect to SSH configuration, so you'll modify something on this particular file. Now here I would like to change certain parameters. So what I am having here is, so password authentication is no, it is enabled as no. what I want to put it is, I want to put it as password authentication as yes. Okay, so how do I do that now? So different approaches. So firstly, as a as a good scripting guy, what I feel is I'll always check, okay, what all the situations are already there. So for that particular one, so what I'm doing is search for password on this particular file. I'll come to know how many password authentications are there on that particular file, so that I can make a logic. Oops. Oh my God. Yeah, so here you can see, I can see on 4 lines, I have password authentication. Now my intention is to change this password authentication of yes to no to yes. So how do you change it? Any approaches? Any of you? You got my point, right? So you have password authentication as no here, and you have password authentication on all these lines. But I want to especially change this particular line of no to yes. How do I do that?
The second line,
So
we
this is,
don't have hash symbol.
yeah, so you don't have hash symbol. So now what I am going to do is, so sed hyphen e, so I don't have hash symbol, right? So other things are starting with hash symbol. So here I want to start with password authentication, cap symbol. We already talked about this one. So starting with password authentication, okay, so search for no and replace it with yes, and the file is /tmp sshd underscore conf. I'll just grep for already changed, but here I'm searching for password authentication LC. So now you can see password authentication is changed to yes now. So without changing any other lines, So after that you restart the service. That's all you need to do, right? So in configuration file, what you do? So you usually change a parameter and you restart the
Just
service.
restart.
That's all. So that's what you're doing with the same thing with set command. You're just modifying the configuration file. Okay, so here just to show you, I'm writing so many greps and all, but if you simply give -i, you're done. Okay, so if you open /tmp sshd underscore config, you're actually modifying the original configuration file. You're done with your job. See, password authentication has been made to yes.
Yes.
That's what you usually do. So you just need to go and find a criteria how I can how I can make how I can make a change to this particular file. So then it is very easy. Okay. So and the usually regularly used options are, these are the options. Okay. So these are the commands: insert command, print command, delete command, substitute command, insert, change, and okay. So insert, append, and change. So there can be other criterias also. Okay, so what is the other criterias I want to, you can go with, I can go with change now. Okay, so now the password authentication is already yes. I'll put it as no. So how can I put it? I can change that particular line as no. So this also makes sense. So this is a different command now. That's all altogether. So if you go now and you search for password authentication, so now it is no. But I have replaced this particular complete line now. So previously I have replaced only this particular word. Now I have changed the complete line. So there is a certain difference. So that always depends upon how you approach and what is your requirement, and always the things changes. Okay. Okay. So any other questions with respect to set command? We have time. You can ask if you have anything. Any other questions? Okay, so not only about set commands, so till about the topics whatever we have discussed till today. If you have any questions, please let me know. No questions. Good for me.
Actually,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
E means SED hyphen E means
See, E means if SED you can write multiple commands. It's not only a single command. If it is a
yeah,
single
yeah.
command, you no need to use hyphen E. Okay, if it is multiple commands only, then you have to use hyphen E command 1. I wrote you the syntax, right? Hyphen E command 1,
Mm.
hyphen E command 2, hyphen E command 3. So in general, okay, so I practice that in such a way that I always use hyphen E option whether I use single command or whether I use multiple commands. Okay, here in this case, it is all one thing. So no need of hyphen E option. So hyphen E is to enable a command.
Hyphen E means enable a command.
Enable a command. Anything else? Uday, anything from your side? Okay, sure. Anything from you, Ramchandra?
I have small doubt.
Yeah, tell me.
What cap command cap means?
See, cap
We are
means starting of
replacing
the
this.
line. Okay,
Oh, oh, oh.
yesterday's class, yesterday class, did you seen
No, no.
the video? Okay, so there I have explained you. Okay, so cap means starting. Every line will have starting and ending, right? So there has to be something denoting the starts and endings, right? So
Okay.
so how it is been is, so every line starts with something is called as cap symbol. So every line is started with cap symbol. So that is a notation of the Unix and Linux files, and dollar symbol. This is the notation of, okay, so end of line in Linux and Windows. But you come to the Linux and Unix. You come to the Windows operating system. Okay, so starting I don't know, but ending is actually cap m. Cap m. Okay, it's a different operating system. They maintain their notations. It's a different operating system. They maintain their notations. Anything else?